I think I told you about some of that. Messaged you about like the Felt Mansion, the old insane asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
Yeah. So there's a legend about the Melon Heads, and
Yeah, the Melon Head legend.
yeah, which essentially goes. There was an insane asylum next to Felt Mansion, which is what it was towards the end of its tenure. It actually was an old Catholic school. It was a detention center for young boys, and then I think it was a male detention center as well for older men.
As well.
As well.
As well.
I took a shot before I came here. I'm feeling frosty. But towards the end there,
shot? I have more.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. There we go. Yeah. So essentially, towards the end of its tenure, it was an insane asylum, or it was that's what they call them. It was just a center for mentally and physically challenged people.
Looks like a butt.
Yeah, Melon Heads. I can't remember the exact condition, but it's a
Their
condition
head
where
looks
they
like
have
the peach emoji.
hydrocephalus. Yeah, where the brain swells. We actually, when I was younger, my parents did foster care, and we had a little girl that had that same condition, so her head was a little abnormally big.
But like that though?
No, not like that.
Just a little enlarged.
Yes, just a little enlarged, and
Yeah, dude, my uncles and shit would, they lived in Allegan, and we'd go out there, and of course, mom's, just partying with brothers and everything. That's why we'd go there. So, we were kids, and then they just try to scare us for not going in the woods.
Yeah,
Melon Heads will get you and shit. Watch for them glowing eyes and stuff, and it fucking kept us from going too deep in the woods when it was getting dark.
Oh,
that's
for
fucking sure, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't fucking know. It sounds like bullshit, but what if?
Yeah, but the legend goes that when the funding for the asylum shut down, they let all of the patients run wild in the woods.
Right.
And that's what the legend goes, is that they're still out there. I believe there is some truth to the story, like the funding of the place shut down. They had to let all the patients go. I don't believe that they're still out there. And I don't believe they're still out there, but they could be. You never know.
Yeah.
There's a series of underground tunnels in the dunes that were used to transport.
That's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah, and there's two brick buildings, and anyone that's been through the dunes in Saugatuck will have seen these before. But there's one that's like a 30-foot drop, and there's one that's a 10-foot drop, and they lead to an underground tunnel system in Saugatuck, and I believe that was used to transport patients, etc., whatever else it was used for. It's really strange. You can't
it's a 10-foot drop into the tunnel?
Yes, there's a ladder.
Okay.
When I was real young, my dad opened up the board because it wasn't boarded up on one side enough, and he pulled it back. He shined his flashlight down. We threw a rock down there, and it dropped like 20 feet, 10 to 20 feet. And he noticed that there was what was a ladder shaft there, but there was no ladder. So.
Oh, but there's no ladder.
There's no ladder.
You could get a rope ladder.
You could. Yeah.
Right?
You can get down there. I'm sure.
Yeah, just get a rope ladder.
Yeah. So that's something that I would think would be really
bring it out there in a backpack or whatever, and just hook it up and do it up.
The only problem is there's a lot of security out there. A lot of
security out.
I don't know.
Dunes,
well, I don't know.
Walking?
I don't know if they're guards. I don't know. Park rangers. It's a park. Saugatuck.
Is it like out in the open where people are going to be able to see you just getting into this fucking tunnel?
No, they're pretty deep into the dunes. They're pretty much like at the top.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll have to take you out there.
Yeah,
sometime
I gotta
and show
check this out because anything like that is fucking.
I'm not too familiar with Saugatuck. It's actually been a while since I've been out there myself. The Felt Mansion, they only fixed up and started using it as a tourist attraction like fairly recently.
Yeah, we went there for it was like you can investigate, ghost investigate or whatever, but it was bullshit because it's a big group. But the lady that owns it, tells the story about how they found it, and basically they were walking the dunes, and they came up over this hill. Bring up a picture of the Felt Mansion, John, so people can see it. And they're coming up over a dune or whatever, and then they just seen this big ass fucking mansion looking thing boarded up, just sitting there rotting away.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, one of those classic moments. You're like, oh, we should buy this.
Yeah, and that
we need to buy this.
Did she tell you when that was when they bought it and fixed it up? Because
she probably did, but I can't remember the date.
I'm pretty sure it was the mid to late 2000s,
Could have been,
or maybe earlier than that.
Yeah, well, because my dad still told me about how people would go out there when it was abandoned and stuff and freak themselves out with the Melon Head shit.
Yeah, when I was younger, back in like 2001. Okay, gotcha.
Well, hiking in Saugatuck Dunes State Park. Hey, I got it right.
That's pretty dope. And I want to say 2008 or 9, my dad had already told us the story about the Melon Heads in the asylum, and he said, next time we go out there, I will show you the insane asylum, because it had been up for a while. Apparently, the last time we went out there when I was real young, we had, it had been there. So we go out there, and my dad's looking for it, and he's like, "Oh, where is it?" He asked someone, like, "Oh, I tore it down last year."
Really?
Yeah. So
you don't remember what exactly it was called?
Look up the Junction Asylum.
The Junction Asylum. See, I think I've seen that before, and it brings up Felt Mansion.
It was right next to Felt Mansion.
I think it just points to...
It's really hard to find pictures of it.
I think I've looked for this before.
There's another...
Oh, right. Oh, no. Yeah. Click that. Flickr. That's probably going to be photos.
There's another name for it, and you can find more pictures of it if you use the other name, but you can't find the pictures when you type in the asylum because they don't...
Why am I getting this static whenever we use internet? It's fucking annoying. I gotta fix that. Small building that is behind the BMX track.
If I can remember the other name.
To that building or the BMX track?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they tore it down.
So that was apparently the...
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes on. And if I can remember what the other name for that is, you find more articles if you use the other name. But if you type in Junction Asylum, you don't find much. Because they don't want you to know about it in that context.
Springs first. What? Right?
Springs for green is gold.
Her hardest
item.
I have to
hold.
It's creepy.
I remember when I went there, though, it was just like this. There was like paintings that were like half torn down. Other people tagged it up.
Yeah, dude, that stuff is so fun.
You know?
People just leave that eerie shit in there too for you to fucking read while you're walking through.
The blood in my cheeks is rushing past my ears.
Talk more.
With a noose
there you
around
go.
my neck, the response would be cheers.
That was weird.
I want to.
There you go.
Yeah.
Old hospital beds.
Creepy beds. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the coolest part about when we went to Northville in Detroit and come across the building where it has... See? It's just showing the felt.
That's felt. Yeah.
But that's what it looked like.
That's the compare. That's where they're taking a picture from the asylum at the mansion. So where you're looking at.
Oh, so it was directly.
It was real close.
Yeah, it was right next to it.
It was literally right next to it.
So when you were going there, the Felt Mansion was also abandoned?
No, it was like...
Oh, no, that would be... Well, you probably...
2001, like you said,
really
when they bought it, they started renting it. My dad talks about it being boarded up. That's obviously before my time, because that's back in the 90s.
So my dad
and 80s
says too, yeah.
When he was a kid.
And that looks like probably a picture after they took all the boards down and they did some little bit of shit on the inside.
Yes.
But the outside...
So there was a period in time where they had fixed up the mansion but left the asylum up. So that was about like a 7-year period.
So I wonder why they just tore it down just for what? I wonder. Just to stop the kids from going in?
Obviously, it's a safety hazard. Anytime you got a building that's up and people find out about it, you got to tear it down.
And they hurt themselves on your property, then yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because think about it. If you buy the Felt Mansion, you're basically buying that property that asylum's on. Because it was owned by the guy that built the mansion, I believe.
The coolest part though about Northville was when we found the room that had like the beds that were still there. Is that how you got in?
That was the entrance right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Clearly.
walked right through the side, and it was as soon as you walked in, it was just like empty 30 racks, and you could tell people
Yeah.
partied there and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
But that was it. Yeah, we'd skip school and just park like we were gonna go on a hike, and just
Did it have a basement too?
it was like a 2-floor thing, and yeah,
I'm not sure.
Basement?
I would assume so.
Or just 2 floors?
It used to be a Catholic school, and it used to be a detention center as well.
Yeah, that one picture, if you go forward or backward, John, I don't know where you are in this.
I really want to remember what it was called.
It looked like almost like a cell block. Like those look like, keep going.
yeah, like that's how I mainly remember it. Was like these beds would just be all fucking tossed over and stuff, and
Yeah.
I want to see if I can remember them.
Keep going.
oh, wrong way.
That one.
Yep, that's how. Yep. So you jump
Whoa.
in through there, and then like once you go through the lobby, you would be basically
Yeah.
on this ground floor, and you
Mhm.
could go down or up.
Yeah, that looks like a detention center.
And
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. And it's so fun, man, looking at this shit. Like I said, when we found the bed, it had like the blank. We found one room.
Mhm.
Maybe there was a couple though, because the place is so big. But it had like the bedding on it still,
Yeah.
and like the pillows were still set up. It had the dressers next to it. It looked like it was all set up. They had like the picture up above it. Man, this shit was so fucking cool. It's so cool to find that shit.
Yeah, that's
It's like almost just perfectly intact.
I really want to get into that, but there's just not much of that going. Singapore, have you heard about Singapore, Michigan?
No.
That's supposedly that just popped up on my phone. Just reminded me of that. There's this old town called Singapore, Michigan. It's like a ghost town. Apparently, it doesn't exist anymore. I can't remember all of the information on it, and I can't find the name of the building before the junction of sound. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's got multiple names.
yeah, you find more information if you use it. Yeah, Singapore. There we go.
So what's with Singapore? Singapore is a ghost town in Michigan. It was a casualty of erosion after the surrounding woods were deforested. Dirt. Exacerbated by the need for lumber. Its ruins now lie buried beneath the sand dunes of the Lake Michigan shoreline at the mouth of Kalamazoo River. I have heard of this.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Now that it said that, I was like, no shit. Because I went and I Google mapped it after that. I'm like, where's the mouth of the Kalamazoo River? I gotta, because I think can't you like see something? Isn't there something there like that? Like that's cool. I don't know if it's still like that, but like holy shit.
It's probably part of that. Is that? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is that sand or snow?
Sand?
Oh, sand. Oh shit.
Yeah, it's being taken over by the sand dunes.
Yeah. So that's supposedly the thing. There's just this whole town covered with sand.
Yeah. Go to Google Images for Singapore, Michigan. See if there's anything like recent. Like people like if they visited it or
Holy
something.
shit. This is some gas.
Yeah. This?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Don't fuck around.
I don't smoke weed like that anymore.
Yeah, well, once you get on all the wax and everything, it's like, whoa.